दी अपॉइंटमेंट शो में आपका स्वागत है। दी अपॉइंटमेंट की इस कड़ी में हमारे साथ है टेक महिंद्रा के चीफ फाइनेंशियल ऑफिसर संजय आनंद। मिस्टर संजय, वेलकम टू जी बिजनेस।
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Mr. Sanjay, first of all, I wanted to ask you slow down जो रिसेशन या ग्लोबल रिसेशन की जो हम बात कर रहे थे, अभी करीबन 1 साल हो गया है, उसमें 4 क्वार्टर्स बीत गए। पहले जो क्वार्टर्स थे इतने अच्छे नहीं थे क्योंकि एक प्रेशर था, मगर जो लास्ट के 2 क्वार्टर्स रहे, स्पेशली दिस Q1 एंड Q2 ऑफ दिस फाइनेंशियल ईयर, उसमें थोड़ा प्रोग्रेस दिखा है। तो जब लास्ट ईयर क्या ऐसे चैलेंजेस रही थी उस टाइम पे when the globe was under recession?
Well, I think certainly I would say the worst is behind us. Generally sentiment has turned positive. However, it will take time to see that fully reflected in business decision making at operating levels. So while opposite customers, we are seeing a lot more activity, a lot more business which we are competing for. Is the conversion still taking more time than it was earlier? Yes, I would still say it does.
Was there an impact of this thing on your Q1 and Q2 results which were good otherwise also? But आपने कितना देखा कि जो discretionary spend है IT पे, क्योंकि अभी भी the clients are cautious towards that, तो उसका कितना असर पड़ा है आपके results पे which otherwise could be much better?
I think it depends on what you compare it to. Okay, if you see the results that we have in the last 2 quarters, both quarters we showed sequential growth and improvement in profitability. So I think that was very, very positive compared to the 4 quarters before. Is it back to the times that we saw 2 or 3 years back when there was dramatic growth at the customer end? I think it's still not there to that extent. But certainly things are turning positive now.
We have also seen in March only, March, you took over Satyam and there was lot of financing towards it also. So presently, what is the debt of the company and how do you plan it, refinancing it?
Well, at the end of the last quarter, we still had 2200 crores of debt on our books. About 1100 crores of that we refinanced last quarter, as a result of which the cost of our debt has gone down very significantly from about 11.4% to 8.7%. So that's a dramatic reduction in the cost of our debt, which will get reflected in our in our interest cost as we move forward.
How do you plan the refinancing of the debt? Does it depend upon the revenue which we earn during the quarter and accordingly you decide with this much of debt we should refinance? So what's the strategy behind that?
Let me respond to you in 2 different ways. Okay, in terms of how we manage our debt, basically the IT services business is a cash rich business. We borrowed this money at a time when we were making a significant investment. So as we go forward, we would expect every quarter to bring down our debt based on our operating cash flows, unless we have a significant alternate investment during this quarter. As far as refinancing debt is concerned, last quarter we looked at it in terms of what was the opportunity at the current interest rates, and wherever there was an opportunity for us to bring down the cost and significant opportunity was available, we restructured debt. So I don't think there is anything more that needs to be done there immediately in terms of restructuring.
So what are your borrowing plans? Are you coming up with any instrument or you have sufficient capital in your kitty?
I don't see us borrowing any more money at the moment.
So that means you have sufficient money in your kitty right now?
Yes.
And now we have seen that the interest rates were very favorable right now for the corporate world also, but going forward RBI has also hinted that it might rise in the next quarter. So have you advanced any of your plannings considering the interest rate right now?
So I think we have locked in interest rates for the period, for the tenure of our borrowing wherever possible, and to that extent we will be insulated from any hardening of the interest rate.
Okay.
There would be a few cases where interest rates would be variable, but a large proportion of our borrowing interest rates have been locked in, and therefore we will not be impacted by any hardening of interest rates.
Apart from your company, if we talk on a overall industry, what is your idea on interest rates right now? Where do you see it?
I think clearly, if you look at a period of year, there will be some hardening of interest rates. However, the impact of that will vary from borrower to borrower. I think at the top end of borrowers, the AAA rated borrowers, there may not be a lot of impact, because I don't see, while liquidity will tighten, it may not tighten to an extent where there will be a dramatic difference in cost for good quality borrowers. But yes, some increase in cost is expected over the next 12 months.
So then what scenario you see you, as you mentioned also, that you see hardening of the rates. So is it because the inflation is on rise and RBI wants to tighten it? Overall what impact it will have on the corporate world?
I think the RBI and the government have clearly said that they are going to make sure that any action that they take on the fiscal stimuli or on the interest rate side is going to be done in a measured manner, so that there is, the recovery is not impacted, and I'm sure that will be done.
The Appointment शो में वक्त हो चला है एक छोटे से ब्रेक का. आपसे मिलते हैं इस ब्रेक के बाद. ब्रेक के बाद आपका स्वागत है. मिस्टर संजय, आपसे ये भी जानना चाहेंगे कि जो फॉरेन एक्सचेंज लॉसेस हैं, लास्ट क्वार्टर में आपके करीब 11 मिलियन USD के फॉरेन एक्सचेंज लॉसेस हुए थे, बट दिस क्वार्टर, लाइक द क्वार्टर 2, यू हैव सीन अ गेन ऑफ $5 million. सो वाज दैट बिकॉज ऑफ the weakening of dollar against rupee, and how do you plan your hedging?
So we hedge out up to 5 years because we have pretty good visibility of revenue from our long-term contracts, and for us hedging is basically to mitigate volatility. We do not take exotic structures or move in and out of the market, and what you've seen in these last 2 quarters, you must understand that forex gain loss is a combination of many factors. It is a combination of the movement of net assets and the movement of your hedges. And if you look at what we have achieved in the last 8 or 10 quarters, I think over a period we have been able to ensure that volatility is mitigated the way we want it to. So at the end of September, our covers were about $770 million, dollar to rupee, and about 290 million pounds, pound to dollar. And we believe that our policy has worked well for us and has allowed us to mitigate volatility at a time when forex movements have been really extreme. And my take is that if you look at the period ahead just now, while the dollar is certainly going to strengthen, that move is not going to be smooth. There will be volatility, there will be times when it will appreciate again, and other times where it will lose value. So, I think all of us have to be very careful about what we do, and we will have to hedge ourselves on a consistent basis.
आपका जो ज्यादा एक्सपोजर है बिजनेस का वो यूरोपियन नेशंस की तरफ है, और यूएस से आपका उससे कम रेवेन्यू आता है, उससे कम मतलब उससे ज्यादा कम बिजनेस आता है. तो इफ वी सी द यूएस डॉलर राइट नाउ, इट्स लाइक वेरी वोलेटाइल एज यू सेड. सो आपका अपना पर्सनल राय क्या है यूएस डॉलर पे, और आपको क्या लगता है कि अभी वो जो आप कह रहे हैं कि बढ़ेगा, बट किस ड्यूरेशन में ये बढ़ेगा?
My view is that if you look over a longer period, next few years, it is likely that the dollar will lose value. However, at this point of time, the environment is so complex in terms of interest rates in the US being artificially low. Also, the US dollar is being used as a financing currency, and in the immediate next 2-3 months, certainly it is looking as if the dollar is going to continue to lose value. However, when we move to a stage where the US government starts tightening and reducing the fiscal support that they are giving, I think it is possible that you could have periods when the dollar moves the other way around. So that is my personal view, that over a period the dollar is likely to lose